Hello, Pastor Aaron here with the Devo for today. So my family and I have been playing the game of life, the board game of life. We got it not that long ago, and we've been playing it all the time, and it's quickly becoming a family favorite. In the latest edition of this game, you still start out in the car, a very American thing to do, but one new wrinkle is that you also start out with a pet, which is great for pet lovers like me, but what about those who hate pets? Is this game not terribly offensive to them? Well, anyway, you spin the wheel and you move along the board game, and as you go, you earn paychecks, you get married, you win or lose contests through these action cards that you pick up, and maybe you buy a house, maybe not, maybe pick up some kids along the way, maybe not, until you finally make it to retirement, right? My question, though, when I start out any game, however, is how do I win? What is the end goal of this game of life? Well, it says right there on the last page of the rules that the person who makes it to the retirement with the most money wins. Of course, that makes sense, right? You look around here at most American suburbs, and that would be the conclusion that you come to after observing people's life, right? Whoever dies with the most toys and money wins. Well, pondering the game of life has made me wonder what it is reinforcing in the impressionable young minds of my children. How does one win at this actual game of life? Or in other words, what is the chief end of man? What is the goal towards which humanity ought to be striving? And this is not one of those questions that you can answer by, just following the science. No amount of scientific inquiry can get you there. The best science has given us on this front is man exists to make sure man keeps on existing. That's it. You see, science is really good at showing us what is, but really poor at telling us what ought to be. Claiming that there are as many end goals for life as there are people, as the postmodern philosophers would have us believe, that leaves us rather fractured and disintegrated and chaotic as a society, with everybody pulling in their own different directions. See, many people have pondered this question throughout the millennia of human existence. Where should we be directing our collective human attention and efforts? Our Eastern Orthodox Christian friends say the chief end or goal for man is theosis, which is a process where man's aim is to become like God or to achieve some special union with God. And that's why the saints are so revered among them. They are examples of theosis. Now, to me, this sounds a whole lot like Buddhist philosophy of denying all pleasure and avoiding all suffering to become one with the Brahman. But I'm really not an expert on either of those belief systems, so I can't really tell you what the big difference is there. But Reformed Christians, they wrote their answer down to this question right in their Westminster Catechism. It was question number 1. What is the chief end of man? And their answer: man's chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. Well, that's pretty good, right? And you can easily find Bible passages that back that up. But what exactly does it mean to glorify God? Well, they answer that question too, and you can find it in their catechism. But essentially, you can find it in the Bible. And then they list all the core doctrines of the faith. How about this one? The chief end of man is to receive God's love and then share it with others. You like that one? Well, this is such an important question to answer, okay? I believe that the fact that we are so divided in this country right now, and globally really, is because we have so many different answers to this fundamental question. Sure, let's follow the science, but to what end? Where are we going? What's the goal? Are humans a cancer on the earth that are ruining the planet and need to be eradicated or at least significantly reduced in number, as some would have us believe? Or is physical human life so precious and valuable that we will bring a global economy to a screeching halt to save some of them? Which is it? I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? It's crucial to know what to aim for and thus know how to order one's life and to act rightly. Well, do you remember the story where Jesus is reclining with his disciples that night or that week that he was going to be betrayed, and a woman comes in with an alabaster jar of ointment and breaks it and pours it on Jesus' head, and the disciples are like, hey, Jesus, we could have sold this and given the money to the poor. What did Jesus say? Did he confirm the logic of the disciples? Well, yes, you're right, guys. Yeah, caring for the poor is good, right, and salutary, and we ought to have done that instead. No, he doesn't. What Jesus says is, she has done a beautiful thing to me. You see, the poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. See, the woman's heart was in the right place. Her actions were motivated by a love for Jesus, a love for God. Like Abel and Abraham and other biblical heroes, she made the right sacrifice at the right time. You see, we were made to worship God. And you can't deny this reality. If you are not worshiping God, you're worshiping something else. You're aiming at something lower than God. And when you devote your attention to worshiping God and remembering all that he has done to make us, to redeem us, and to restore us, then all the other lesser goals will be accomplished according to his will. You shall have no other gods. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these other things will be added unto you. Man does not live by bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. If you look at the biblical record, bad things start to happen when God's people don't fear, love, and trust in him above all things. You see, I believe very strongly the world would be a whole lot better place if everyone pursued Christ and his righteousness. But of course, it wouldn't be some utopia or perfect place. We know that won't come until Christ returns. But I do believe it would be better than it is now. So let us pursue Christ together and share with the world his love for us. Thanks for listening. May God bless your day.